Good morning, everyone. This is Leslie Jouflas, and welcome to today's edition of your Daily 5. And I'd like to thank StockCharts.com for inviting me back for this segment. Trading Live Online is my website, and feel free to come visit me there. So today we're going to be looking at the Dow Jones Industrial daily chart and the NASDAQ daily chart, and then looking at a couple of stocks from those indexes. They're kind of sitting right on some important support, so we definitely want to take a look at that and be watching these levels. So here I have the daily chart of the Dow Jones Industrial, and let me just sort of walk you through here what I've got marked on. So let's start over here where you see A, B, C, D. This is in a sell pattern. It's moving to the upside, and there's a couple of places on this chart marked in this sort of green line. This is called the 1.0. This is where the A, B, and C, D are equal in length, but this pattern can tend to extend to some Fibonacci ratios, and this one extended right to the 1.618 that was also coming into the resistance area at this gap area, and also very close to testing the highs in the Dow Jones Industrial from February 2020. Now, if we look down here to the RSI, we can see that the RSI, this is the one just prior to the last little move up to the highs in February. The highs in February showed us a big divergence on the RSI. On this move up, the RSI sort of retested that area. And then here we are back from just a few days ago when this got up to these levels, and the RSI became overbought at the upper end of its range. So we're down at the lower end of the range right now, and I've got this trend line marked in here. So this is going to be the very important support right now to be watching in the index. If the price is to break this support level, then we may very well see price come back down into this area here, possibly back down to where this sort of range area was, and retest these prices here. Right now, we might see some correction up on the RSI and some other indicators as well, maybe back to sort of around the center of the range I have marked in here. So this is what I'm definitely watching, this trend line on the Dow Jones Industrial. Now the NASDAQ, this chart, if you have been following some of the daily 5 segments I've been on, this is a chart that I've been following for a long time now. So back to the 2020 highs, this is the RSI just prior to those highs, then a little bit of a lower high. It's retested several times. And with this high, a very extended ABCD up to the 1618. These are really difficult. I'm not suggesting anyone trade it when it gets there because it's at all-time highs. But when we start to get the sell, signals, big long candles, then we can look for some retracement patterns. But the RSI here retested almost exactly the RSI, that previous high before the February. Now the MACD here has made some lows. So again, I'm expecting maybe some retracement back to the upside. The RSI also moving back up, maybe around the 55-ish area to 60 area. And then I'm expecting to see some more movement to the downside. And again, this trend line here, as you can see, is all the way from last March and April. Prices had been holding there, then holding at the center line. So we may see the center line has been important. You can see how many times prices come back to this line. So we may see a move back up, maybe just above the center line, and then prices come back down again for either a retest of these lows, a break of this trend line, and we're likely to see more downside price, possibly back down to around where I have this green support line here of the February 2020 highs, and this is also going to be about a 0.382 retracement of the March lows to here. So we want to be keeping an eye on this trend line, the lows from last Friday. Those are going to be very, very important right now to be watching. Okay, let's move on to a couple of stock charts now. So JP Morgan, this has been making lots of sort of ranging types of patterns. There's a B, C, D to the upside, A, B, C, D to the downside, little move above these highs here, back down into the range, and it's just really been sort of coiling around. So as the NASDAQ and the Dow have, it's also sitting on this trend line. So there's quite a few stocks, the indexes are doing this. So they're all sort of testing these support areas. This was a ABCD Gartley Sell Pattern back down to the trend line. So here I've got the, this is the resistance area to be watching with JP Morgan. A break above that, most likely higher prices, but this could really kind of be filling out another range in here. But with JP Morgan, again, this trend line, that's the important area to be watching right now. And then the RSI with JP Morgan, I've put in where the support area is with that. So right now it's still sort of in the middle of the range, maybe moving back to the upside. And then again, if we see a break of the RSI with a break of the lower trend line, then expect lower prices on JP Morgan. Advanced micro devices, I've presented this. There are some patterns back here, coiling area, breakout of the coil now. But advanced micro devices had what's called a butterfly sell pattern. This can be a very powerful sell pattern. It can also be a powerful buy pattern. But you can see that the heavy bars down grow with this move to the downside. Well, sometimes you can take the extension of this pattern, that's the length of the pattern from the A point to the D point, and project down using some ratios, usually the 1.27 and 1.618 Fibonacci ratios. And many times this pattern will find some support around those areas. So these areas you can see I've got marked in yellow are also corresponding with some gap areas. The 1618 down here, this is, getting close to where this long range breakout was. So, we might see the price come back down around this area. It may offer a very good buying opportunity on advanced micro. But right now, we might also see just a little bit, some retracement correction back up. If it does that, it could do an A, B, C, D back to the downside, buy pattern into these areas. So this is what I'm watching on advanced micro for right now. And so we'll see what happens with that. Now, the last chart I have is Tesla. Everybody watches Tesla, and I've got to tell you a quick story. When Tesla did the split back here, I got this app. It's called Nextdoor, and it's just a community thing. People post things. Does anybody know anybody who can, paint my house or help me with a deck or something like that? And somebody just posted on the day of the split, in this super celebrating mode. Nobody even knows who he is, but kind of sort of, talking about how much money he made with the Tesla split. Well, it's been my experience over the years when you start to hear everybody talking about and celebrating how much they're making on the upside with stocks, it's usually a good time to be looking for a correction. And sure enough, the next day, this is what Tesla did. So we've got some gaps to the downside. So again, I've just drawn in sort of a schematic possible ABCD sell pattern. But again, with Tesla, if that occurs, we may also see in the future a big A, B, C, D buy pattern down into some support areas. But for right now, expecting some testing to the upside with Tesla, and then probably at least a test of these lows and maybe some lower lows for a buy pattern. So that's it for the Daily 5 today. Thanks for joining me, and please feel free to come visit me at my website, Trading Live Online.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're going to bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.